Welcome to Ball and Ballers. I got another show lined up for you today, and this is more of a run through of what happened on Saturday when United beat Sunderland 2-0 at Old Trafford, and discussing a bit more of that, bringing you player ratings, where I thought the player ratings were from my point of view, who was a standout, who's my man of the match. I'm also going to talk about the league table as we currently are. But before I get into that, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you receive notifications every time I drop a video, usually about 3-4 times a week. And I've been thinking about doing live shows as well. But I'm not sure when to start them. Probably January when my partner's chemo's finished. So I might start them in January more than likely. But I might run through a few live shows in the meantime just to test out if it works and, do all that good stuff. But let's get into the video. So United beat Sunderland 2-0 at Old Trafford on Saturday. First goal by Mason Mount, second goal by Sesko. But it was a crucial boost for Amorim because he needed it. It's a crucial boost for the fans. We needed it. And a great debut for Senne Lammens. So, yes, let's get into what I think the good points were, what I think the bad points were. Now, I'm going to start with a bit of a positive. So, the positive were that United were ruthless in the first half, converting 2 key chances to build the lead. Mount's goal, it was an 18 pass move, although I did see a video earlier to say it was 19, but they've got it as down as 18. And that was excellent play. Mbeumo crossing. Mount control with the left onto the right, straight in. And Sesko's poaching finish as well. Cross came in from a throwing came in from a Diallo, flicked on by one of the defenders, and Sesko was at the end of it, which was a striker's goal, which is much we needed. That was first good point. The second good point was Sesko played well, holding up the ball, including his passive and layoffs. He had a nice link-up play. The ball kept coming down because we were playing a bit of long ball. And although he didn't win all his duels, he did try, and that's what we needed. We needed somebody with his height, because if you remember last year, it was going on to Højlund, and Højlund weren't doing much with it. Whereas Sesko has got the build, has got the height to get on the end of them, and he did brilliant. Number 3 was Lammens. Lammens was assured in goal, claiming his first clean sheet for the club. Sunderland didn't really create many chances. They had an XG of 0.71. So it was a great defensive effort by everyone. And it was something that we definitely needed. And we got that clean sheet, which was important. And hopefully there'll be more clean sheets leading on from this. Now, Mason Mount and Bryan Mbeumo brought a high level of work rate. And they were brilliant. Ahmad and Mbeumo link-up play on the right was immense. They were just linking up with each other, 1-2s, passing the ball around, and hence why it led to the first goal, because on the right it came in, Mbeumo crossed it in, Mount did the rest. And that was it was great, and hopefully that effort will continue. And I feel like there's a lot of I think Ahmad and Mbeumo are slowly clicking on that right. We still got to work on the left, because the left side, we're not really getting that link up, whether it's Kunia Dorgu, whether it's Mountain Dorgu, whether it's Mountain Diallo, or whether it is going to be. We're not getting that link up, not like we are with Mount and Mbeumo, but we need to fix that, because if we can't play through the right, we need to be able to play through the left. And number 5, after scoring a 2-goal lead, we showed good resilience and control in the second half to see out the result. And that's been missing a lot, because usually I'm at a point where my temperature will skyrocket higher than the United ticket prices, and I'm there panicking, and they get a goal back. It comes down to the wire. Either they score, we lose, or they. But no, we all played well, and that was the basically positive points for me. The negative, on the other hand, was after 2 goals, the urgency in the game dropped. We didn't play as I wouldn't say we played bad in the second half, but we didn't play as like we did in the first. Although we did control the ball, it became more efficient than exceptional, and we did not look like we were going to add to the lead. They had a few chances, and it allowed Sunderland to stabilize a little bit. Number two was Casemiro, and Bruno was solid. The midfield consistently did not. Well, we didn't dominate in central areas at all. Yeah. Although we had an overall pass completion of 79%, which is slightly lower than we normally would have, but I don't think we controlled that midfield much at all. We were playing a lot of long ball, and we were trying to win the ball back quite quick as soon as we lost it. But yeah, we still need to work on that midfield. Chances. Number three was chances. Ahmad had a good chance, but that was from the Bruno. When Bruno hit the crossbar, came back. Ahmad, I don't know whether he was knocking it in or he was knocking it across the mount, but either case, he should have done better. And we've had I think it's just that lack of ruthlessness that we didn't have. And we could have killed off the game if we had got the third goal. But, it was a comfortable victory at the end of the day. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that. Momentum is number 4. Are we going to go into Liverpool with this momentum? To be fair, I would have loved to play this Saturday or this Sunday. But now that we got this international break, we don't play again till about the 18th or 19th of October. So still got a couple of weeks. But hopefully we can keep that momentum and go into Liverpool and get a result, because that's our next game. And the last one would be number 5, negative, would be predictable substitutions. Yes, he took a centre-back off again for Maguire. 5 minutes to go. Fair enough. 5 minutes to go. That's fine. But there was no need for it. I didn't feel like there was no need for him to make these predictable substitutions. I got a message off Bryan literally 10 minutes before he made them substitutions saying, oh, this one's going to go off for Cunha, and this person's going to go, Ahmad's going to go off for him, and this person's going to go off for him. Accurate. So it's like predictable substitutions. I agreed with him because in my head I had the same thing. I knew Matt was going to go off for Cunha, and I knew one of the central backs was going to go off for Maguire, and it was just the obvious substitutions, and it's predictable. Now I'm going to go into player rating. So I'm going to get down to get him up, and I'm going to discuss who my man of the match was. But the first one I'm going to speak about is Senne Lammens. Fantastic debut, calm, assured, made a couple of important saves, including a very good one from Granit Xhaka, and then one towards the end as well, and another late stop basically to preserve the clean sheet. So he made a few good saves. He was catching the ball, he's jumping up, and if you notice the fans cheer when he caught the first ball from the first cross, it's because we never had that for a while. We've not had it. Usually we see numpty like Onana or a numpty like Bryan totally missed the ball. He caught him. So that was good, and that's the reason I gave him 8.5. It was a perfect debut. 3 saves, 52 touches, 44 total passes out, and 1 clean sheet. Can't go wrong with that one. Next one is Lene Yoro. 7.5 I've given him. Pass completions were good. Good. I think he was involved in the second goal. But he was solid and reliable in the back three. His pace and composure were evident, and he played a key role in the move that led to the second goal, which I've just mentioned. So yeah, that was basically my little short analysis on him. What we got next is De Ligt. Matthijs De Ligt. I think he's pretty solid. He is. His commanding and disciplined performance in the center of the defense. He reads the game well, and he's very dependable. So that's what I like. I mean, he does have a few games where he may lose his head, but like the last one. But this game, I can't fault him. 7 out of 10. Next one would be Luke Shaw. 6.5. I think it was the worst. I think it was the worst out of the back three, but he played really well. He was solid. he was reliable and focused on his defensive duties, and I suppose that's all he needed. Although I did want him to be a bit more in the game, but he wasn't. And that link up on the left side with him and Dorgu was not happening. So that's the reason I give him a 6.5. Next one is Ahmad. 7. The reason I give Ahmad a 7, he had 2 shots. He created 3 chances on 62 touch, but it was a constant threat on that right. Him linking up in Mbeumo, that link-up play that I mentioned earlier. He was unlucky not to score, but I don't, because I can't figure out whether that was a header in or a header across, but I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. I think it was a header across. But there was and there was one shot that he did where he cut in and shot, and a great save off the keeper, Roof. So yeah, I can't fault him. I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. We got Bruno Fernandes. Sorry, no. Casemiro, sorry. Not Bruno. No, Bruno's next. But Casemiro, I'll give him a 6.5. He had 1 block. He wasn't really involved as much as I'd wanted him to. It was more of a composed and disciplined display. He did help control the tempo a bit and made a vital block in his own box, like I mentioned. But other than that, he wasn't really noticeable. So 6.5. And now here comes Bruno. 6. He had a shot off the crossbar. It was a great shot. He covered a lot of ground across the pitch, but his attacking influence was slightly below because obviously he's playing in a position that he needs to be more defensive in. That chip that he did, it was unlucky not to go in, but it was a great save by the goalkeeper, and that could have put the game beyond reach. But hey ho, 6 out of 10. It wasn't a bad overall performance. Now I've got Diallo, probably my worst player on the pitch. Even though it was his throw that led to the goal, so I'll give him that. But nah, he had an average game. He seems to lapse a lot, like lose concentration. So he weren't really doing much of anything. I think there's one point where Amorim told him to do something because he weren't doing it. But 6 out of 10, probably a worse player on the pitch. Bryan and Mbeumo. Assists 1. It was his pass to Mount that led to the first goal. He started brightly, providing an assist from Mount's opener and creating dangerous partnership on the right with Ahmad, which I have mentioned, the link-up play. But in the second half, his influence kind of drifted off a bit. So there was that. Apologies, my phone's ringing. We got Mount. And I'm going to give this guy my man of the match. Definitely going to give this guy my man of the match. Give me a second. Make my phone on silent. It's a schoolboy error. I keep doing it. It's because I'm on the clock all the time. That's why. Okay. Let's go on to Mason Mount. 8.5 I've given him. He scored a goal. I'll give him the man of the match. This is probably his best performance for the club that I've seen him play. And he brought that much needed dynamism, and he was just all over the place. He was just everywhere. He controlled the ball well, and I think we've got a competition between him and Cunha on that left number 10 role. And if Mason Mount keeps playing this way and Cunha keeps playing the way he's playing, I don't see why Mason Mount should be started. I did query it when I saw him in the lineup, but I'm glad that he did start. I'm glad he got the goal. And for me, he's the man of the match. The last one I'm going to get into is Sesko. He's got 7.5 out of 10. Okay. He he was one of the best players. He was a masterclass leading the line. I'm not going to lie. He was absolutely brilliant. Scored a poacher's goal, netted a second goal in 2 games, and was effective in his holder play. And he was winning a high number of aerial duels, just not all of them. I don't expect him to win all of them, but he was really good. He was linking up play with Mbeumo a lot. There was a nice pass that he did to Ahmad, if I remember, in I think the first half. That was brilliant. And his vision, seeing players run outside of him and pass the ball to him, has been good. And I can't knock him. 2 great displays. I give him a man of the match in the last match, and he came. If it weren't for Mount and Senne Lammens, he would have got my man of the match. I think he was the 3rd best player on that pitch. I'm not going to go into the defense because Dorgu, Konya, Mainu, Ugarte, Maguire didn't really play much. So I'm not going to go into all that. But I am going to discuss the Premier League table. So if I can get that off here now. And this is what happens after a good weekend, eh? Let me get the Premier League table up for you. There you go. So there's the table there. So after this weekend of games and before the international break, you got Arsenal on top because Liverpool dropped points. Liverpool lost to Chelsea 2-1 in Liverpool time, and it was nice. I enjoyed it. Although I don't like seeing Arsenal on top, but I'd rather Arsenal win than Liverpool or Man City for that matter. You got Tottenham, for me, a surprise 3rd, but they've done well under Thomas Frank. And they're only like 2 points behind Arsenal. So they've won, and the 4th your Champions League spot is with Bournemouth at the moment. And Bournemouth have made a brilliant start. That's Areola here. Bournemouth have made a brilliant start to 4th. And rounding off the European spot is Man City in 5th. It's not bad. Crystal Palace has slipped down to 6th. They could have gone 2nd, but after that loss that they suffered, they have gone down to 6th. Chelsea's win takes them up to 7th. You got Everton who won, so that's to come up to 8th. Sunderland played us, so they dropped from 5th to 9th, and we're only a point behind now. So we're in 10th. So we're actually in the top half of the table, which makes a massive change, really. It's nice to see it. At least we're not like dwelling in that 14, 15, 16. Although, if we had lost, I'll tell you where we would have ended up. There you go. We would have ended up in 17th. 16th or 17th. One or the other. Which would have been worse than last season. So the fact that we've got a bit of a breather does help. Although it's you got Burnley on 4 points, West Ham on 4, and Wolverhampton on 2. Wolverhampton, I reckon, will get relegated the way they're going. But yeah, I think it's a 6-point gap between us and relegation, and then it's a 6-point gap between us and top, so it's slap bang in the middle. And that's the Premier League table for you. And I did something interesting the other day because you can go by home form, away form, and form in the last 5 matches. So a home form, if you just counted the home form, we would be 4th in the table, just based purely on the home form. 4th in the table, behind Arsenal, Bournemouth, and Liverpool. If you go on our away form, we slip all the way down to 17th in the table. So we really need to pick up that away form, and the fact that we're playing Liverpool away doesn't really help us either. So that's our away form. But if you look at the last 5 matches that we have played, we would have been 6th. But overall, we're in 10th, and I'll take that going into the international break. So That's all I got time for. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one.